Hey, good morning, Bahamas. I I've been down for a couple of days, and as usual, my mind's going, 100 miles an hour all the time. But I've been reflecting a lot on situation in the Bahamas, political situation in the Bahamas right now, and you know, I got to be very honest with you. Regardless of who wins the next election. I mean, even if the DNA was to freak everybody out and win, um, anything. What I'm trying to say is, it doesn't matter who wins. From the perspective I'm going to tell you, I don't really think that things, quote unquote, are really going to change a hell of a lot. You know what I mean? As to how we do things, as to investment types of investment, as to alternative energies, as to restructuring government, and so forth, and maybe even some amendments to the Constitution and things. To be honest with you, I don't really see them things happening. And the reason being is the system as it is now works very well for those who occupy the seats of authority, power, political power. It always has, and it always will. So that is one reason I don't see it changing, because it's not really going to be in the best interest of those sitting in those powerful positions. Secondly, I think there are those that are just afraid of change. They're afraid to think outside the box and maybe do something different or something radical and some radical new approach to something. I think it scares the hell out of most people. They just don't have that I don't know what the word is, the sense of exploration, of adventure, to really bring about some earth-shattering changes in this country. I mean, as it is now, we depend almost solely on tourism as our mainstay economically. We do banking as a part of the economy, and various other things, but really almost solely upon tourism we depend, and foreign investment. But that foreign investment usually is along the same lines all the time. It usually has been along the same lines, since its inception. And that is to attract foreign monies here to build tourist type hotels and stuff like that, and which is great. Because we do have really a great product to market in the Bahamas. We are a beautiful country, naturally. But the problem is the world is changing quickly, as you will have noticed in the last, even 4 or 5 years. The world is changing. And it changes more rapidly. You know what I'm saying? There's more change now, it takes place more rapidly than it ever has before. So I don't know, I don't have a crystal ball, but I don't know that tourism and the type of investment that we've depended on mostly is going to sustain us. I'm not an expert, but it's just, you look at things and you see that, there's, I mean, even if tourism was to remain the same for the next 50 years, it's still not going to employ every Bahamian, I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where every Bahamian who wants to work will be able to work. I don't know, I don't know if that's possible. But it still won't employ enough Bahamians, not in jobs where they could feel a sense of pride and a sense of accomplishment, unless, of course, they move up into management and so forth. So I think we really need to diversify our economy, not only from the obvious economic standpoint of view for the growth of the country, but also for the betterment of the Bahamian people, which will put us, in an overall better spirit, national spirit. I mean, if we know that we have, several different jobs, careers that we could choose from right here in the Bahamas. We don't have to go to a foreign country and to find the work as a professional. And that's what's happening with a lot of Bahamians, as you know, going away to school, and they're not coming back because they know that to them, to come back here to look for a job, if they find a job, that they're going to be wasting the energy and the dedication they have put into acquiring that college degree. And I don't blame them. If I'm going to work hard at something, and I get frustrated as it is just in my work, and my work doesn't require a college degree, but I get frustrated whenever I'm doing something, even at home or something, or on my job, and you don't have the tools you really need. And those tools, if you could get them tools, those tools would make your job so much easier, and you could do that much better of a job. And therefore, when you finish doing that job, you could step back and say, yeah, I'm satisfied with that. It looks good. I don't mind anyone knowing I did that. Because that sense of pride, a sense of accomplishment, and that you did the job, the best you could. And it's very frustrating. So what that tells you is those students going away and going to school and not coming back, they have a sense of pride in who they are now and what they've accomplished, and they don't want to throw that away. Now, yes, there are several positions in the Bahamas, some of them can come back and get, and it works out for them, but that's not always the case. That is the exception. That is not the rule, and we all know that. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you we could blame everything on the PLP government. We can't. This has been a failure on every successive government since 1967, is that they just haven't, been able to or haven't been bold enough, or I don't know what it is, to think outside the box, to really do things differently, really differently. So I don't know what it's going to take. I really don't. I don't know if it will ever happen. And, it's a shame, really, because this is a great little country, and this could be developed into the envy of the world, as far as I'm concerned. It really could. I really believe that. I really believe that. The Bahamas could be the envy of the world. But, it is what it is. The only thing we can do is hope and pray for a better, brighter, more prosperous tomorrow, regardless of who is, elected or re-elected or whatever. Just, hope and pray for the best, and pray for, our government and whoever the next government is, and the incoming government and so forth. And, it's really out of our hands as average citizens. If I were in a position to, I would have got involved in the race, for Parliament for my constituency, South Africa. But I'm just not in a position to do that. So I'm not going to sit back and criticize everybody and whatnot, because, hey, if you could do a better job, do it. Okay, well, I'm not in a position to do that. So whoever is elected into this constituency, even if it is not the one I supported, I'm not going to undermine them or try to bring them down or anything. Absolutely not. Whoever is going to be my member, my representative in this constituency. Whoever is the next government is going to be my government. It's not like, I don't have this attitude. People think, I talked to someone last night on the phone who'd been noticing my posts and wanted to kind of brief me on things, how things really go. And they said, I could see you a strong FNM. I said, no. I say, I have voted FNM, and I'm basically siding with them now. But I could tell you right now, if I saw the future in the PLP or whoever, it would be no problem whatsoever for me to go out and vote for either Eva Bain or Ms. Flowers, Ruth Flowers, as DNA. No problem whatsoever. I am not a card-carrying member of any. I never have been. I suppose that is because I like to march to the beat of my own drum. I'm a leader. I'm not a follower. So and there's nothing wrong. I've said there's nothing wrong with following, but it's just that's not my thing. So anyway, let's pray and hope for the best, for the future, for all of us. And leave it, I guess, up to a higher authority. And for those who can, in a position to make a difference, hopefully they will. And there's several people running for as candidates for various parties and some independents that I have an awful lot of hope for them, that they can and will do things to bring about a dynamic future. So I'm hoping and praying and hoping that the right people are elected in the right constituencies and the right situation develops as far as who is our next government and so forth. So that's where I'm going to leave it. I have no animosity towards anybody politically, none whatsoever. Anyway, y'all have a good day, and hang in there. Just do our thing, get registered and vote. Anyway, thanks for listening to me, and catch up later.